global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
The Ijaw leader has decided not to spare the presidency over the injustice that have been meted out to the Southeasterners, and this time around he's taking the route of the predecessor of Bola Tinubu, Buhari, that Buhari had done it in his time, and it seems as if Bola Tinubu is taking the same route, and he has sent a very strong warning to him and tell him what to do and what the Igbos must do speedily. In the letter that he sent out, he asserted that President Bola Tinubu is taking the path of his predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, who did everything to subjugate Igbos from the southeastern part of Nigeria for reasons best known to him. Edwin Clark, in the letter to President Tinubu, said Buhari excluded the Southeast from some of his appointments during his time in office. I'm going to read exactly the content of the letter that he sent out to Bola Tinubu. And according to the letter, and I read, he said President Buhari did everything to subjugate the Igbos for a reason best known to him. Perhaps it may be necessary to cite some example. The NNPC board, which he constituted when he came into office, had 9 members, one from the southwest, one from south-south, and no member from the southeast, even though 3 southeast states, Abia, Anambra, and Imo, are oil-producing states. The remaining members, including his chief of state, came from the north, a non-oil-producing region. However, they later tried to amend it when he appointed Senator Unifying Southeast as chairman of the second board, and he later replaced him with Margaret Juba Okadibo before he took office, or he left office. Senator Unifying Southeast took the matter to court and won, but the situation has not changed. Also, when President Buhari attempted to obtain loan from foreign financial institutions that exceeded 30% of the GDP of the country, which was not in the interest of the country, and a loan of $22.7 billion, of which less than 1% of the amount was to be allocated to the Southeast zone, while other zones were allocated a higher percentage for infrastructural projects, is a violation of the constitutional requirement to ensure a balanced economic development of Nigeria in accordance with President Buhari's oath of office. In President Buhari's 17-man security chiefs, 14 of them came from the north and only 3 from the south, excluding the Igbos from the southeast. Mr. President, even in your administration, the discrimination and injustice against Igbo has not abated. The whole eastern region and the whole western region, to which I belong, were equal competitors and partners before and during the First and Second Republic. But today, you have appointed 10 Yorubas as ministers from the southwest and only 5 ministers from the southeast, and you even fail to give them the ministerial appointment due to their region that would have made it 6 ministers. There is no justification for this grave omission, and no effort has been made to correct it. Now that the elections are over, we must face the restructuring of this country. I repeat, the immediate restructuring of Nigeria must be carried out if this country is to remain one, and I appeal to Mr. President to take immediate action to implement the historic 2014 National Conference report, which submitted 600 recommendations to the presidency on how to restructure Nigeria in every aspect of our lives. The Igbo of Southeast, or wherever they are in Nigeria, must stand up and assert their rights legitimately, judiciously, and in a democratic way to benefit like any other Nigerian as it was before the Civil War of 1967. This is very interesting. Was quite detailed for President Tinubu to understand very well. Pointed out 2 major things which he wants the president to look into. Number 1, the injustice meted out to the Igbos, and he is employing him to speedily do that which is right, which is the restructuring of this nation number one. And number two, ensuring that the provision of the 2014 meeting, that they had concerning the restructuring should be equally carried out. And I think that is a good one. As talking about the implementation of the 600 recommendation of the 2014 National Conference report, and also mandating the Igbos, they must stand up and legitimately assert their rights, just as it was before 1967. And I feel that this can be done in different ways, and the people who can do this for the Igbo are actually those who have been elected into the position of representation, the senators and the House of Rep members. They are the ones that should take this responsibility seriously. Having a meeting with the president is not a bad deal. And, one of the things that have been limiting the Igbos is their lack of cooperation. Lack of cooperation has been something very key. Fairly recently, we heard about what the Imo State governor was trying to do, but in his own case, he was trying to bring the Igbos to the center, that's bringing them to the national politics, but under APC, which a lot of them will castigate and which a lot of them will react against because they have that freedom to belong to any political party. But what is most essential here is for all of them to speak the same language, and that same language will come about by having a meeting and going as a body representing Southeast to meet with the president and making some very strong demand. Fairly recently, also, we have heard about what a Idiato House of Rep member, Idiato South Constituency House of Rep member had to say, talking about Chinyere. Chinyere came out, Honorable Chinyere, he came out and told Nigerians the need for Olu state. Olu needs to have a state of his own. And he made Nigerians to understand where the local government will be carved from. I think this should be taken seriously because the creation of the state will bring about additional development. Abakaliki would have been nowhere to be found if Ebonyi state was not created. You understand? The same with other states in Nigeria. For example, in the South, Akwa Ibom State was in Cross River, but at the point they had to create Akwa Ibom State. And look at the level of development Akwa Ibom is enjoying. So, number one, that should be taken very seriously so that whenever they are giving out allocation, they will be a part of it. You understand? Secondly, representation is very important. Speaking to the president about ministerial appointment also is something very factual, because the treatment that have been given to the Southeasterners have been quite unfriendly, I must say. Yes, Minister of Works have been given to, the former governor of Ebonyi State and some other ministerial appointment. But I think that what is most important is dragging development to the southeast. I was so shocked that despite the fact that the works minister is from Ebonyi State, he didn't even bother to say, before we go into the coastal region creation of road from Lagos to Calabar, let us also repay the road from Lagos down to Calabar so that it will pass through or meander through, Abia State and other states that are connected. But they decided not to talk about that. I'm just wondering, is this thing for selfish personal gain or what is he trying to do here? Because it was quite shocking that he supported that. And apart from that, the issue of, uh, regionalization is very important. 6 regions are noted here, and restructuring is important at this point because without restructuring, getting people involved in developing, in fighting to create more monies, and at the end of the day, it is being shared at the center is one thing most people can't tolerate. They can't sit back and watch it happen. So I feel that what Edwin Clark is trying to do is to kind of awaken the sleeping giants in the Igbos, awake them, because it is time for you people to get back that which belongs to you. You have been played down upon, you have been taken away from the center for too long. Yes, Bola Tinubu have been able to bring in some people, but then they need to be very specific developmental structure down there in the southeast, which will point to one direction that they are part of Nigeria. The issue of port also have been talked about. They should see how they can awaken all the pots in the southeast and also in the south. So these are some of the things, but I'm so shocked that some of our leaders are very quiet over it and they feel that, after my tenure, any other person can go and be fighting for it. But that is not how leadership should be done. However,